In the early 1950s, when pickup trucks were first becoming the workhorses of American farms and job sites, the naming system was simple and honest. A half-ton truck carried half a ton, 1,000 pounds. A 3/4-ton truck carried 1,500 pounds. A 1-ton truck carried 2,000 pounds. The name was the spec. You did not need to read a brochure. You did not need to find the door jam sticker. The number in the name told you exactly what the machine was built to do. Today you walk onto a dealer lot and spend $65,000 on a Ram 1500. They still call it a half-ton. They say it in the commercials. They say it on the websites. The salesmen say it without blinking. But if you load that truck to what the brochure tells you is the maximum payload, there is a real chance you are already overweight before you have turned off the lot. Not because the truck is broken, but because the number you were sold was not the number on the sticker in your door jamb. And the sticker is the only number the law actually requires to be accurate. In this investigation, we are going to expose 3 payload crimes hiding inside the American truck industry. We are going to look at the half-ton naming scam that has been running for 60 years. We are going to look at the stripped truck fraud that cost one manufacturer $19 million and a settlement with 40 states. And we are going to look at the federal regulation that has been quietly making your truck heavier and your payload number smaller for the last 15 years. Payload is the issue. The first crime starts with a name. Before the Second World War, the naming system was honest. A half-ton truck carried half a ton, 1,000 pounds. By 1959, Chevrolet had already quietly abandoned the old standard. They renamed their trucks the C10, the C20, and the C30. The numbers no longer corresponded to actual payload. The trucks had gotten more capable, and no one wanted to update the marketing to reflect it. So they kept the general structure, small number for light duty, big number for heavy duty, while disconnecting the name from any literal meaning. Ford kept the F-Series. Ram kept its numbering. All of them inherited names that once described payload and now described nothing at all except where a truck sat in a product lineup. Here is why that matters. Those names carry enormous weight in the market. When an American buyer hears half-ton, they hear capability. They hear work. They hear the truck their grandfather drove. The manufacturers know this. They have spent 50 years and billions of dollars in advertising cultivating exactly that association. The Ram 1500, the F-150, the Silverado 1500, these names promise a specific kind of hauling power that has not been literally true since before most of their buyers were born. And here is where it becomes specific. By the time you option a modern half-ton to what most buyers actually purchase, crew cab, 4-wheel drive, heated seats, sunroof, running boards, larger fuel tank, factory trailer hitch, every one of those additions adds weight to the vehicle. Payload is calculated as gross vehicle weight rating minus the curb weight of your specific truck as it left the factory. Every option you select consumes a slice of that number. The fast lane truck documented a 2017 Ford F-350 with the 6.7-liter diesel. The brochure showed an advertised payload of 4,440 pounds. The door jamb sticker on the actual truck with the crew, cab, moonroof, 48-gallon fuel tank, chrome step bars, and fifth-wheel hitch package showed 3,153 pounds, a difference of 1,287 pounds on a truck that cost over $60,000. The name said one thing, the sticker said another, and the salesman said nothing at all. But even that gap is not the worst of it, because at least the sticker on that F-350 was telling the truth about that truck. What Ford did with its advertising between 2011 and 2014 was something else entirely. In the early 2010s, the pickup truck wars were at full intensity. Ford, Ram, and General Motors were fighting for the title of best-in-class payload. Best in class is not just a boast. In the truck segment, it is a sales weapon. Contractors, fleet buyers, and working professionals specifically seek out the truck with the highest claimed payload. It closes deals. It justifies purchases. It is worth billions in market share. The problem for Ford was that around 2011, its competitors had surpassed the Super Duty's payload numbers. Ford stood to lose the best-in-class crown it had been advertising for years. So Ford's team devised a solution. They calculated their maximum payload on a truck that did not exist in any showroom in America. The hypothetical configuration omitted the spare wheel. It omitted the tire and the jack. It removed the radio. It replaced the standard center console with a smaller mini console. Stripping these standard items from the weight calculation increased the theoretical payload figure by approximately 154 to 194 pounds. Just enough. Just enough for Ford to reclaim best in class in its advertising and hold that claim through the 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014 model years. This is not a theory. This is the documented conclusion of an investigation by the Attorneys General of 40 states and the District of Columbia. In May of 2022, Ford Motor Company settled those claims for $19.2 million. Iowa Attorney General Tom Miller stated that Ford's figures were not based in reality. New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin specified that Ford employed a truck configuration it did not actually intend to sell to individual buyers. The specific configuration was available only to fleet customers. The retail buyer who trusted the best-in-class advertising and paid for an F-250 or F-350 to haul serious loads received a truck that could not achieve the advertised payload. Ford settled without admitting wrongdoing. Think about what this means in practice. You are a contractor. You need a truck that can haul a real load. You see the television commercial. You see best in class. You buy the truck. You get to the job site. You start loading. And somewhere between the commercial and the curb, the number changed. And there is another layer. Even if Ford had been completely honest, even if no radio and no spare tire had ever been involved, your truck's payload number has been quietly eroded by something you likely never thought about when you drove it home. When Congress passed the corporate average fuel economy standards in 1975, they were responding to the oil embargo. The intent was simple: force manufacturers to build more fuel-efficient vehicles or pay penalties. From 1975 to 1980, it worked. The average vehicle lost nearly 1,000 pounds, but the law had a loophole. Pickup trucks were classified as light trucks and held to a less stringent standard. After 2010, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shifted to a footprint-based system. Under this system, the larger a vehicle's physical footprint, the rectangle formed by its 4 tires, the more lenient its fuel economy requirement. University of Michigan engineers found that this creates a direct financial incentive for automakers to build larger, heavier vehicles. The New Republic reported it plainly: in 2024, vehicles are getting larger because the larger the vehicle, the weaker the standard. Now, trace the math forward. Payload equals gross vehicle weight rating minus curb weight. When the footprint standard gives manufacturers cover to build bigger trucks, curb weight rises. From 1975 to 2021, average pickup truck curb weight grew from approximately 4,000 pounds to over 5,000 pounds, a 30% increase, confirmed by Consumer Affairs data and a 2024 academic report from the California Transportation Commission. Every pound of that growth is a pound that came off your payload. You did not get a better truck. You got a heavier truck with a smaller sticker number sold to you with a bigger marketing budget. So what is the solution? You cannot trust the brochure. You cannot trust the advertisement. You cannot trust the salesman. You can only trust the door jam sticker, and only for the exact truck with the exact options that you are standing in front of. Not the base configuration, not the stripped fleet version Ford used to claim its title. The sticker for your specific build. Before you buy, ask the dealer to pull up the door jam payload number for the exact truck you are ordering. Then do the math yourself. Subtract your own weight. Subtract the weight of anyone who rides with you. If you tow a trailer, subtract the tongue weight. What remains is your actual available payload. Compare that to what you genuinely need to haul. If you need real capability, simplify the build. Every luxury option you delete at the factory comes back to you as payload. Fewer doors, fewer driven wheels, smaller fuel tank, no sunroof, no running boards. The simplest version of any truck is its most capable version. That is not marketing. That is physics. Ford paid $19 million to 40 state attorneys general for the gap between what they advertised and what they delivered. That money is gone. The gap is still there. Stop reading the commercial. Start reading the sticker. That is the only number anyone is legally required to get right.